Hello, friends. This week's Brain Food asks the question, are you spending more time fighting fires than investing in fire prevention? Okay, so what do I mean by fighting fires instead of fire prevention? Fighting fires to me, I'm going to use a personal example of one of the things I've talked about in the past about how I used to manage my calendar. And so the way I used to manage my calendar is that anytime somebody would call or email and ask for my help, that meant that I would need to schedule time to work with them. Whether it was in person at their office or a Zoom call or whatever that is, I would need to schedule, and it's billable time to work with them. So that's a good thing, right? The problem is I would immediately look at my calendar and find the very next gap I had open. It didn't matter. I didn't really even look at what was happening before or after. So I might be downtown in the morning and then out south over the lunch break and then back downtown in the afternoon if I wasn't paying enough attention. And that absolutely has happened in the past. And it gives me this whole, I'm running around the city with my head cut off kind of feeling. Mick does a really good impression of me doing that. I'm running all over the city. Anyway, the problem is by slotting people in, the very next gap that I had in my calendar overloaded my calendar. And it would get to the point where for a week or 2 weeks straight, I could look forward on my calendar and see that I was booked morning, noon, and night, and it would stress me out because there was no wiggle room. Why is wiggle room important? Well, wiggle room is important because you need to be able to take a coffee meeting or a lunch meeting, an old friend's in town and you want to get together for lunch, or a sales opportunity comes up and somebody's wanting to get together for coffee. It's kind of awkward when you have to tell them I can't do coffee for 4 weeks. Some people would say, well, sure, that's great. That just means you're busy and people want to work with you, so they need to wait for that. But there's a limit to that also, right? If somebody's ready to do something and they need some help, they don't really want to wait 4 weeks to get together to talk about that. So by scheduling myself completely full for 2 weeks on end, it created those kinds of problems. That is firefighting, not fire prevention. So the solution for me, as I've talked about in the past, was twofold, actually. The first thing that I did, and this was Mick and Trista both suggested this, you need to put a half day on your calendar. You need to block 1 half day on your calendar because, Jason, you're responsible for your calendar, right? Yes, was my reply. Yes, I'm doing this to myself, yes. So I got in the habit of doing that. Mick continually pushed on me for that. And I started blocking a half day once a week where nothing else would happen during that half day. And I could go ride a bike, listen to music, watch a movie, play a video game, whatever I wanted during that time. I just couldn't work and I couldn't move the half day. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that going to make your time crisis worse because you're trying to schedule all this stuff and you've now scheduled another half day where you can't book things? It's interesting how it works out. I think that the harder you push and the more work you're doing, the less creative you are, and I think your energy dwindles through the day as it goes on. If you do that morning, noon, and night, day after day, you're definitely not playing at the best level you could play at in your business and your personal life either. And so what I found was by blocking that half day, it gave me something emotionally to look forward to, that, I get to rest, or I can go ride the bike in the sun, or whatever. It gave me something to look forward to every week. A lot of us look forward to our vacations that we plan, and those happen whenever, every 6 months or something like that. This gave me something to look forward to every week. The other thing I did, I mentioned it was twofold. The other thing I did with my calendar that was critically important was fighting very hard to keep the balance. And so just paying attention to what was going on the rest of the day and even the day before and the day after when I was trying to schedule something made a huge difference. So now that's the solution for me. Now I looked at that. I look at this process that I do as fire prevention. Because by scheduling people as soon as you possibly can without thinking about it, you're creating small fires in your path in the weeks to come without even realizing it. And by looking and keeping the balance and working on that and blocking that half day once a week, I look at that as fire prevention for my own business and for my own personal life. And I can tell you it's had a huge and positive impact. It's been very, very good. So ask yourself that question. You might not have any problem with your calendar, but there's probably something in your business that feels like you're putting out fires all the time. And it might be a good idea to sit down, maybe block a half day on the calendar, and try to work on something that helps you solve that problem or adjust how you're handling that issue ongoing to see if you can do some fire prevention for that issue instead of continuing to fight fires. Well, I hope this brain food was helpful. I hope I made you think about something, and maybe you can even take some steps to solve a problem that you're currently experiencing. I hope you're having a great week, and if you like this video, please do so. Like this on YouTube or subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.